Hi, welcome back. If you're returning, and thanks for joining us for Possible Live. Let us know where you're joining us from and a way that we can help you in between our lives. Today's topic is: do you know your difference? And the question I'd love to ask you about it is: what makes you unique? In a really cool way, I'm appreciating that this topic is from one of my favorite pens by an amazing company called 𝗪𝗏𝘀. And 𝗪𝗏𝘀 makes these beautiful it's a Swiss company. They made these beautiful pens. I fell in love with them, just the feel of them in my hand and the nub of them, and that they were transparent. And it made it one of my favorite pens, and one of the first pens that I was excited to put the name of my business on. And I remember giving this pen to someone who said, "This is the silliest pen." Hey, Andrea, how are you? Happy MLK Day also. Somebody said, "This is the silliest pen I've ever seen." We had a conversation about it, and we had a discussion about how to use it and how to get the point to come out and how to write with it. And the person said to me, "This is the stupidest pen I've ever seen." I remember being surprised by it and later actually laughing at it privately because it really taught me a good lesson that when we're giving something or sharing something that is unique or different, that there's got to be a story, a vibe, some guidance as to whether it's right for the person that we're sharing it with. Otherwise, there's nothing really. And I love it that Andrea's here. She's got an amazing brand, 𝗂𝗎 Organics. She celebrated her first anniversary last year. She's got an amazing product line, uh, delicious teas and scrubs and tonics and products just to help us take better care of ourselves. No, thank you, Andrea. As I'm reminded later to reach for some hibiscus tea. She's got some amazing, unique products. And one of the things that I would love to say, as we're mentioning Andrea and thanking her for joining us today, is that Andrea knows her difference. And it's something that we don't always express as employees, as entrepreneurs, as team members, as collaborators. We don't always, hmm, I can't even necessarily say we don't always have the confidence to share it. We're just not sure how to describe it. So today, I'd love to share with you just a couple of ways as you're introducing yourself, as you're connecting with people online and in person, and those in person events. There's a little bit more of a distance sometimes. There are more safety protocols. You're sitting a little farther away from people. It may take more steps and more conversations to get to know someone, to share your solutions or your services or your products or the ways that you help others. But I'd love today just to talk about a couple of ways that when we're sharing what makes us unique, maybe a couple of ways that are a frame. And for those of you just joining us, we talked a little bit about Andrea Dixon of 𝗂𝗎𝗀 Organics. Definitely check out Andrea's amazing products. And Andrea will drop a link in so we can check out her website and buy some goodies later. But I think of the ways to share what makes us unique in terms of a couple of S's. I know daughter of a scholar, there's an acronym in there or there's a letter, but I think of this in in a couple of ways. And the first way that I think about this that may be easiest for us to grasp because it may be related to a hashtag we see on social media is to express what makes you unique in terms of your strategies. So I think of some of our amazing guests to help us frame this discussion. One is Lachelle Atkins, America's Supermom, and Lachelle's hashtag was collaboration over competition. Besides the fact that Lachelle has 15 children and she's America's Supermom, Collaboration over competition has really become her point of differentiation. She reaches out to introduce us to people who can help us grow our business. She shares amazing guests. She'll introduce you with somebody to kind of just help change your frame or your perspective. Another one of our amazing guests, Aris of Arisio Coaching. Aris hashtag relates around authenticity and inclusivity. And the unique part is she kind of approaches it through some of her coaching certifications, one of which is mental fitness, another which is clean language. But she really helps us explore authenticity and inclusivity and the strategies behind it. It all lines up, just ways to help us show up kind of as our best self. And it's a really amazing strategy. Somebody else who I encourage you to follow. When I was thinking about strategies, I've been a strategy girl from way back, and I'm delighted in a recent conversation with Jonathan Howard. I was reminded I don't always share the strategies up front. It's one of the reasons why I think I love you joining me for Impossible Live. And Lachelle, hey, happy MLK Day. And that one of the reasons with the strategies, and I think now it's a strategy I finally am sharing clearly, that I always shared behind the scenes, but I never had the words to describe it. This strategy for me is elevate your blend. How do we raise our levels in person, online, and both, so that people help us fly? People really see what makes us unique, the combination of ingredients or elements, what makes you unique. And I love it. Today, what looks like we're going to have one of those power days. It's kind of cool. So I'm glad to be back. And Lachelle, thank you so much about the strategy. I really appreciate you and your incredible support. Another way to share what makes you unique may be your solutions and your systems. They give you kind of rocket fuel. They help others achieve kind of a liftoff to make them feel like they've got more structure and a more solid business for them and for their team and for their clients. And one of the people that I would mention first would be 𝗪𝗂 of 𝗪𝗂 Omnimedia. And 𝗪𝗂 has the brand Naked agency, and she has the executive call, and she's kind of a brand architect. That system helping you build a structure of your brand pillars, things to align, of your brand values, of lining your brand up in that. I'm reminded today to raise a glass and toast you. Somebody else who's also really a gem about solutions and systems would be Cheryl Moses of Mogul One Media. And Cheryl has an intuitive success system that she helps us base our business on, how we line everything up, how we prepare for launches, what messages we share. And it's really a cool. I would encourage you to reach out to her, and I'm looking forward to her joining us as an Impossible Live guest a little later in the spring. Another upcoming guest who has amazing solutions and systems that I'd love to share with you are Adriana Richardson, and Adriana's company is the Lazy Millennial. She's a process person. She documents stuff, and she helps with delegation and with standard operating procedures. And she's a tech writer. And what's really cool is Adriana will join us for how to duplicate yourself a little bit later this year. I'm really looking forward to learning more about her gems. The other way, and this one saved probably the hardest one for last. We talk a lot about style. You'll notice it's one of the themes of this year, besides being a module in my beta class. We'll explore it more with some amazing guests. And signature style would have to be the next S. So the first one was strategies. The second ones were solutions and systems. And I'd have to suggest signature style. This is more complex. We think of signature with what we lead with, what we kind of stand for, what we leave behind. And in signature style, there's kind of an inspiration to it. And one of the things that I'd love to start with here is our recent conversation with Jonathan Howard of Success on Social. So Jonathan's signature style is impressive. It's bold. It's really authentic. It has a vintage element to it. And the fact that he helps us succeed on social media is really one of the most interesting things about what Jonathan does, because he does it in a way. His signature style started from developing the courage to share his voice, to share his style online. And now he helps us do it. Another amazing person, and Jonathan and exquisite 𝗂𝗵𝘂 of Brand Your Dream kind of dovetail. I appreciate them tremendously. Their signature styles work together to really help me kind of figure out what mine are. And I recommend them highly to anyone at any stage of your business. Jonathan will help you on Reels now also, and on videos as a specialty. And Eve helped us start there. And Eve of Brand Your Dream is, I would call her a brand navigator, a brand ninja. She helps us kind of figure out where to start in describing our brand stories, in describing our stories, in helping ask questions in a way that's memorable. I love Eve's signature style because you notice it first from the second she shows up. And we've only met virtually. And while Eve's waiting to connect and we're waiting for her audio to come in, you notice her keen sense of observation and the weightiness, kind of the seriousness. She's going to bring something juicy and inspiring to every discussion that we have. And she does this, whether she's doing this in her Brand Your Dream show on YouTube or in her Visibility Gym. So somebody I would encourage you also just to reach out to. Another amazing person with signature style is Lori Robertson of Speak Her Coach. And Lori helps us find the confidence in many cases for women entrepreneurs and for speakers so that we're able to kind of show up as our best self, whether it's getting organized. And she's got an amazing story about an event that she supported for many years. And then it was her turn to lead the event. It was her turn to be the mistress of ceremonies. It was her turn to speak in front of up to 15,000 people. And she spoke about the challenges of that, of how she had watched it, the behind the scenes, and how it helped her really figure out a place to start helping others in our journey of trying to build our signature style. It may not make sense, the what makes you unique, the way the 𝗂𝗲𝗀 pen that was so different than any other pen that I had ever seen. And I loved it because you could see the inside of the pen and the nibs of the pen, and you could refill it. And it just had a weightiness and a seriousness to it. But all of the amazing entrepreneurs I've mentioned, they've all got what makes them unique down pat. It's in their strategies. It's in their solutions and systems. It's in their signature style. There's more to what makes us unique. There's our culture, our stories, our voices, our environment, our skill sets, our strengths, our expertise. But these are 3 beginning starting steps towards what makes you unique in a way that you can help see them. What I love is on the other end, others are saying that they're having trouble hearing. For a little bit, we had a power loss and kind of a blip So I hope that everything is okay on your end on a replay. If it's not, feel free to reach out to me and we can definitely have a conversation about what makes you unique. And I'll put some of the links on these amazing businesses to connect with so that you're able to reach out to them. And Catherine, thank you so much for letting me know that the volume is okay. It's one of those days where it is a national holiday, Martin Luther King Day in the United States. A lot of schools are closed. We have some more demands on our local internet resources and texts. But I'd love to find out from you live and on a replay what it is that makes you unique. How do you describe it? And how do you share it? And if you're stuck on how to share it with others, please definitely reach out. I was really stuck in the beginning of becoming an entrepreneur, and that bridge from being a full-time employee and a part-time entrepreneur. I wasn't really sure in the beginning how to describe what made me unique. Part of it meant it was a style thing where I was an introvert and wasn't really sure what words were important and really didn't treasure at that point my own voice, my own style, my own words, and really appreciate some tremendous coaches with spectacular support and mad skills. And I've mentioned some of them in our discussion today, but I hope you have a chance to locate a shortcut to sharing what makes you unique so others discover your strengths, your solutions, your strategies, and what your signature style is. And we're in a world where it's really important to show up in these ways and help others solve problems. So let others know what makes you unique as you're being a deep and active listener, hopefully, to discovering more about what makes them unique. And I appreciate you joining us today and hope you stay safe, stay well, stay inspired, and stay in touch. And I hope you have a magnificent day. Take great care.